Hello, good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. For my subscribers that are Flight Simulator fans, I know I've been neglecting flight simulation for a little while. I do have another passion, and that is cars, and I absolutely love racing in VR because I can't actually race cars in real life per se because of the cost, and very much like the barrier to flight is also the cost. So on this somber weekend, as you must know if you're anywhere around the world, unfortunately Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has died. And I've also got a family member in hospital who's not very well at all. And I just thought, do you know what, I haven't done a flight for ages. And just flying, especially in VR, completely removes you from everything. It's so relaxing. And because I've not done a Microsoft Flight Simulator flight or a VR flight for a while, I thought we'd go somewhere that's meant to be one of the most scenic airports in the world. And hopefully I'm going to say this right. If you look over there, this is Donegal Airport in Ireland, and we're pretty much on the coast, but all will be revealed. Now, I've jumped in the Cessna 152 because it's a completely analogue aircraft, and I don't know, it's just mechanical. I just like the simplistic things at times. So what I'm going to do, and I am behind, obviously flying the aircraft, but I'm sort of behind the camera. I'm going to remove the yoke so you can see what's going on. Now, I'm not a real world pilot. I sort of pretend to be. I have had real flying lessons a long time ago now. Perhaps I'm seeing things through rose-tinted glasses. If I had the money, I would get my private pilot's license or go towards it tomorrow, but I don't. Hence, I'm sitting here in VR. But anyway, we want to get the aircraft started up in this Cessna 152. First thing we're going to do, I'm going to look down here and I'm going to put the fuel cut-off valve open. That's on. I'm going to make sure the throttle, I'm going to give it about 6%, 7%, 8%. I went to 8 there. Mixture should be in 100%. I'm going to put the alternator on my mouse and the battery master. That will get everything coming up on the aircraft. Now, if I'm not doing proper safety checks and things like that, we're not doing that in this flight. Right, I am going to get the magneto set ready. Oh, not yet, not yet.
Donegal ground, Hellspawn 777, requesting pushback.
Well,
Hellspawn 777, pushback request accepted.
As sometimes happens when you're doing things live, you don't mean to do what you did. What I was going to do was prime the fuel here with this button there. You pump it a few times, get some fuel in, but it does seem the aircraft ready to go. Now, we're just about to get pushed back. So at Donegal Airport, there is a single runway. Just while we're being pushed back, we better get our lights on. So we don't want the cabin lights on. I'm going to turn nav lights on, strobe lights on, beacon lights on, and we're going to put taxi lights on. So our lights are set up. Just in a second we'll finish pushback. That'll be about right, mate. Thank you very much.
Donegal ground, Hellspawn 777, requesting the end of pushback. Hellspawn 777, request to end pushback received. Donegal ground, Hellspawn 777, ready to taxi, departing straight out with Kilo. Hellspawn 777, taxi 2, and hold short of runway 21 using taxiway. Contact tower on 129.8 when ready. Taxiing, hold short runway 21 via taxiway, Hellspawn 777.
So parking brakes off. Bit of a throttle to get the aircraft moving. Back up on that throttle again. So this is the taxiway out to the runway. We're going to pause just in front of the stop line. I'm going to wait for clearance. So I'm going to apply the brake. come to a stop.
Donegal Tower, Hellspawn
Parking brake
777, ready at runway 21 straight out departure. Hellspawn 777 altimeter 29.83, wind 153 at 24. Departing straight out approved.
Right.
Cleared for takeoff runway 21.
I'm just going to push B on the keyboard.
Cleared for takeoff runway 21, Hellspawn 777.
B on the keyboard pressed. Make sure you've got the altimeter set right. We've been cleared to take off. We're going to give it a bit of throttle so we don't roll back. Parking brake off because we are climbing slightly uphill here. Back up on that throttle so we don't want too much. Then we're going to bit of a right rudder. That's what I'm using on Microsoft Flight Simulator to turn the aircraft. Bit more throttle. There we go. We're actually on the runway. Now this runway is a single runway. There's no taxiways. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to go down the runway and then turn around at the bottom. Now, I don't know whether you can see properly, but past that security fence on the left is the Irish Sea to our left. I say Irish Sea, hopefully I've got that right. We are on the right tip of Ireland. We're on the very, very tip of the Irish coastline, going off the centre line a bit, and on the right we have a few mountains and sand dunes. As I mentioned earlier, this is meant to be one of the most scenic places, airports in the world to fly from. So we're still taxiing down to the end of the runway, just keeping a good pace, you know, we're not trying to take off or anything. So the windsock is indicating that we've got a wind blowing across the runway, so we're going to have to consider that as we take off. Right, we're coming up to the brow of the runway now. This runway seems to climb uphill this way. I'm going to come off on the throttle. As we get towards the end, I'm going to slow the aircraft down, then we're going to turn, line up and take off. Now I am doing this live with live players also, so almost anything could happen in this video. We're just going to do a circuit and re-land at the airport just to get a feel of what it's like in the local area. Right, I'm still having to hold us on the rudder, stop the plane veering off. Right, we're just coming up to the end of the runway. We're going to make our turn now, so I'm going to slow things down a bit, not too much. For how big this aircraft is, we don't actually really need all this space to turn. What we might do is just cut this off. Obviously if the aircraft's bigger, we're going to need a much bigger turning circle, or as it is we don't. Things turn round so I can hear that wind. Right, I'm just going to put the brakes on. I'm going to pause us here, I'm going to put the parking brake on. Right, I'm going to give us a little bit of trim for takeoff, only a tiny bit. 10 degrees of flaps, and parking brake off, full throttle. Right, compensate for the prop, so we're doing a bit of right hand rudder now. Keeping it down the centre line, watching the speed. Blades pulling, and pull back a bit. There we go, we're up in the air, so that wind's blowing, sort of skewing into the wind a bit. I'm going to give it a bit more right rudder, pull my nose round, and we've got a positive climb. I'm going to put a bit more trim on. Actually, we don't actually need it. There we go, so that's where we were parked up at the bottom down there. We've got sand dunes and things to our left, and on the right there is the sea. Now, as we turn around, we'll see the mountains and things. We're not going to go too high, so I'm just going to throttle back a bit already. We're just going to keep our climb positive. Once again, that wind's trying to push us over. Still got positive rate to climb. I'm going to knock down on the trim a little bit. Although it's bright, it is an overcast day. You can see the cloud levels quite low, but we've got good visibility as it is at the moment. I don't want to start our turn just yet, so I don't want to be dropping too much right. What I'm going to take them flaps off now. Now it's going to drop down a bit, and I'll put a bit more trim on to compensate for that. And then we're going to start making a right hand turn. Right, throttling back now. Because we're coming out of our climb, so I didn't really want to go too high. What we're going to do, we're just going to fly out over the edge of the coastline here and then back on ourselves. There's meant to be some absolutely cracking beaches around this area. So it looks quite cloudy over in front. Looks like the weather's moving in more. A bit more of a right turn. Right. I'm going to trim the nose up a bit more just as I bring the throttle back. I'm going to drop back to about 2200 RPM. Now when you're flying in VR, it's a bit like anything in VR that I've put on my channel, it is very much feels like I'm sat in the aircraft. And the view you get in VR is just something you can't get from a flat screen. I've got a real perception of depth, of the elevation and contours of the hills and that around me. I mean, obviously I've got a great perception of height. There's a bit of a wind mast over there, so I'm going to fly away from that. We don't want to fly into it.
House on 777, leaving my airspace frequency change approved. Donegal Tower, Hellspawn 777 frequency change. Shannon Center Hellspawn 777 is type Cessna 152 5 miles southwest of Donegal 800 feet. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace. Hellspawn 777 Shannon Center. Squawk 2026.
Right, I'm just nosing up a bit.
Squawk 2026 Hellspawn 777.
Just as we make our right hand turn.
Hellspawn 777 radar contact 5 miles southwest of Donegal 700 feet. Cleared through the Charlie airspace.
And we're just going to
Cleared
head.
through the Charlie airspace, Hellspawn 777.
We're going to head back over the coastline here. What I've done, I've actually got the auto air traffic control set up, so I don't have to bother with that so much as we're flying. Now, you can see that bay over there. That looks like a nice little sandy cove over there. We're going to head back out over the water here. Quite a few little islands dotted about. I wish I could tell you about the geography of the area, the name of the islands and things like that. I don't know. This is my first time ever flying here, and that's what I absolutely love about Microsoft Flight Simulator. You got the scenery for the whole world, and it is very, very accurate. We've never have been to Donegal in my life. I've got a real good idea of what the area's like, the mountains. I mean, I can only imagine how cool this looks in real life. So we're at about 800 feet at the moment, and what we're sort of doing is heading back towards the airport over there. What I'm going to do, the island that's 1, 2, 3 in front of us will fly over that, and then we'll turn back towards the airport. It's really, we want to be flying adjacent to it. But this has been voted as one of the most scenic airports in the world. Pop a bit of, just a little bit more trim. Maybe I'm going to back off on the throttle just slightly. A little bit more trim up to compensate for the nose dropping. Quite a sandy area. Say on a better day it must be beautiful. Well, it is beautiful, but maybe with the clouds and that we'd see a bit more. Without the clouds we'd see a bit more, I should say. Yeah, because definitely you get more of a view normally. Things are quite secluded by the cloud, but visibility locally is not bad. So as mentioned, just as soon as we get up to the island there, we'll make a left turn to be adjacent to the island, and then we'll fly back over for the airport, which is just sort of in the mid. You've got the sands there and the runways on that green part, so we're going to make a small left turn. So I know he's going to drop slightly now, but I'm happy with that because we don't want to gain too much height. I suppose as well we need to announce our landing. So I'll bring the mouse back up, bring the menu up, and okay, so I bring the menu up and then I can't use the mouse. Oh, fantastic Microsoft Flight Simulator. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to jump out of VR for a minute, just announce that we want to come back into land, and then we'll jump back into VR, which is a little frustrating. What I'm going to do, we'll head out so we can do an arc to come back in. I'll have to sort that. I haven't played Microsoft Flight Simulator for a while. Need to sort out. If you know how to get over that issue, please comment down below. Right, give me a second.
Donegal Tower, Hellspawn 777, is 5 miles north, 1,000 feet, with kilo to land. Hellspawn 777, Donegal Tower. Altimeter 29.83, wind 153 at 24. Make straight in runway 21. Fly straight in runway 21, Hellspawn 777.
Right, just get looking back the right way. VR headset's back on. Annoying that I had to do that, but oh well. Right, we are now out over the Irish Sea, so we want to turn back in now. We've been given clearance to land on 2-1, so we're going to be landing the way we took off. Nose is dropping just quite a fair bit there. I've just nose pulled back a bit. So what we're going to do, we're going to sort of straighten ourselves up, and then we're going to get ourselves in a landing trim. Right, I'm going to come back on the speed a bit now. So I'm doing that by reducing the throttle, but that's going to bring the nose down. So I'm just going to trim us out a bit, just so we're not losing too much height. Now the runway will be coming up in front of us. So we want to head for where that like sandy area is, just there. The runway is just to the right of that. So we're coming down at 200 feet per minute. That's alright as we are at the minute. About 2100. It's good for where we want for the moment. Right, we're going to put the landing lights on. And I should have talked.
Southbound 777 wind 153 at 24. Clear to land runway 21.
Thank you. I should have turned the landing lights off earlier.
Southbound 777.
So we need to come over a bit, I think. Right, we are actually quite far out. Can you see over there where something's just taken off? So I'm happy. That looks like an Aurora Dark Star that's just took off from there. I mean, fair play. And look at the rate of climb on that. We don't want to be losing too much height just yet. The mountains and that over there really are covered by the cloud. Right, now we're a bit closer. Now we want to start coming off the throttle just a little bit more again. We want to start our decline in height now. So I can see the runway there, we can see the lights in front of us. So we are going to start dropping back a little bit more. So we're going to turn to line up, runway 21. Drop back again. Should start getting a descent. There we go. Knock the trim forward a bit. Coming back on the throttle a little bit more. Right, now we've got too much descent. It's alright, we're doing alright. Coming in quite quick, so what I'm going to do, we'll drop our speed back a bit more in a minute. I'm just going to bring the nose up slightly. Right, we still want our decline. That's it, speed's back a little better now. Right, there we go. I'm using the throttle to slow us down. Now because we've got there's no taxiways, we're going to have to clear this runway. My plan is we're going to try and touch down more in the centre. We are coming lined up. We have someone on the runway. I hope they realise that we're landing. It's this guy again. I'm going to go over the top of them. I did say this was live, so we're going to go over the top now. And I'm going to kill the throttle. Come on. Gently does it, gently does it, gently does it. There we go. Oh. Gone into the wind. I've veered off the runway a little bit there. The wind is blowing quite a lot.
129.8.
And we've gone. We've gone. Whew! That was nearly a bad crash. That was probably one of the worst landings ever. I did say the wind was blowing. How we managed to save that, I don't know. I'm really going to bring that down now. Well, I said it was live. I don't know whether he's going now. Yeah, let's just, there he goes, look at that. That sounds pretty cool. Right, please. I'm leaving that landing in. It is what it is. We nearly lost out there. Out. So cut that. Now something I've noticed when you in the normal 2D view, there's a lot of shake and movement on that, the feel in the engine. When in VR you don't feel that as much. Maybe that's something that needs looking at. Microsoft and ASPO, you don't get that rattle and shake in VR that you do on the 2D screen. Right, after that terrible flight and landing, I'll knock the fuel valve off. Let's turn this off and knock these off. Alternator off, and that was our flight. Ooh, sketchy landing, sketchy. Right, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe. I haven't made it in YouTube, nowhere near it, so if you've enjoyed this quick video, subscribe. Thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.